Sketch made this.
Hey! Mulder and Scully are still missing, Skinner hasn't bothered to check in since he left, and poor Pendrell, assuming he's alive, is probably still sat by his phone waiting to hear if Scully's okay. On the upside, however, we do get to hear a load more bullshit from Cook trying to weave in the details of the plutonium smuggling storyline. I'm sorry, this is the X-Files game, right? Not, ooh, there's a black oil story set in Russia in season 4. What else can we say Eastern Europeans are doing on American soil without it being even the tiniest bit paranormal?
Hey buddy, good news.
What's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. I cracked your case for you.
What are you talking about?
Evgeny Smolnikov, known head of a ring of Georgian smugglers. And I have a witness who placed him at the dock the night of Wong's murder.
What witness? I think we've pretty much proven that anyone hanging out at the docks at night gets their head blown off. More to the point, why are you working my case when you were bitching about having to take on my other cases at the start? Where the hell is Shanks to deal with Cook?
I ordered surveillance on his little love nest, and since this morning, we've accumulated enough evidence to warrant a raid. We leave ASAP. The SWATs are joining us at the site. No need to thank me.
What about Astadorian? You should call and tell her what you're doing.
Done. Already left her a message. I'm the Martha Stewart of crime prevention, and if she gets her took down here before we leave, she's welcome to play too.
How do you know who Astadorian is? Why isn't Wilmore thinking to ask these questions?
Why didn't you tell me about this?
I was going to tell you, but the evidence just opened up this morning, and now we're going in, and besides, you were pretty much out of pocket yesterday, if I recall.
You have a warrant?
What do I look like, Mark Furman? Yes, I have a federal warrant from a federal judge.
So, he didn't get to tell me because the information only just presented itself this morning, but there was time enough for him to get a warrant from a judge, organise a SWAT team and contact my partner? Am I the only one who sees the holes in this guy's story? Also, I'm sorry to keep coming back to this, but this is my case, douchebag! Back the f*** off!
This is my investigation.
Finally, words of wisdom from Craig Wilmore!
Au contraire. This is our investigation. Hey, I'm just trying to catch the bad guys. You do remember that little thing we do, catching the bad guys?
I'm not gonna let you do this.
Come on, man, what are you busting my chops for? That isn't like you. I'm just trying to do my job. Now, what are you getting all proprietary about? Clearly, that guy is undoubtedly smuggling plutonium into the Pacific Northwest. It's my guess he's a key to your missing FBI agents. So, suit up. Let's go.
See, I knew if I bitched loud enough my character would hear me eventually. Nevertheless, I know there are a lot of you sat there shouting at your monitors or other devices that the smuggling storyline that I keep moaning about serves a purpose. And I completely agree, it absolutely does. But here's the thing that I have the issue with. I'll get more to this later, but on the show, misleading information was used to deceive, inveigle and obfuscate agents who were sniffing around too close to imponderable truths by men that had been manipulating the system for decades because they believed that that was what needed to be done. Yeah, there was the general shady government stuff, but let's face it, the main focus was of course on aliens, their interactions with us, and how much the Syndicate could suck up to them so that they'd be left alive when the planet was recolonised in a blaze of fire and black oil. The thing is, thanks to Mulder's paranoia, even when greener than green agent Dana Scully became embroiled in the big conspiracy, they knew that there was a much bigger picture than just what they were investigating.
That's why they put the I in FBI.
That's the kind of story and approach I thought I was going to get when this game was first released. But Wilmore has no reason to question any of this. He has no for thinking there's any kind of cover-up going on. He's been assigned to find 2 missing agents. For whatever reason, that is involved in with an investigation run with the Seattle PD. Why ATF or some other agency aren't called in when it looks like nuclear materials are being smuggled, I don't know. But the point is, whereas on the show this story would be used to make Mulder and Scully dig deeper to uncover the black oil conspiracy, here I feel the black oil is completely tacked on, and I would be better off investigating it to uncover the smuggling. It's also shallow and would be much better off in a general criminal investigative game than something using the X-Files brand. And this is why this series of rants exists. Well, that and it won't let me punch Cook in the face, but anyway.
Who's the witness?
What witness?
Identified Smolnikov?
Oh, yeah. Fred Kohler, 56, indigent. Was sleeping under a tuna net not 50 yards away from the murder. Heard and saw everything.
I'd like to question him.
Sure. Whatever you want. After the raid, he's all yours. Now let's go.
In case you were worried that this was nothing more than a point-and-click adventure, it's time to turn it into a first-person shooter. You still have to point and click, but at least we're finally getting some action.
Where's the backup?
I called Seattle PD SWAT boys. They're on the way.
Oh, we should wait.
I say we get this over with. Surveillance reported that Smolnikov entered the building alone.
You were saying?
After you.
At least we would be if you didn't have to be pixel perfect with the aiming. Why does Cook get to have the AK-47 and I have to use my shitty little pistol? It would help if this place wasn't so dark and it didn't take a couple seconds for the crosshairs to cross the screen. There are only 3 hiding spots in this first room that the gunmen appear from. I bet you would never guess where those places are just by looking at this still image. And I don't have an issue with this turning into Idiot Hunt because, well, it's about time we finally got to use that gun that's been pointlessly sat in our inventory since the start of the game. But the hit detection is ridiculously awful. You can shoot spot on the body and have it not register. Or you can shoot somewhere, anywhere else, and have it kill the guy instantly. I always thought that Cook firing before you was the best strategy. And it works the first time, but after that, asking for backup actually seems to hinder your progress. Thankfully, this is the only area where using the gun can be tricky. There are 2 guys that you need to take down on your way up the stairs. One behind you as you reach the top of the first flight, and turn 180 degrees back to face the boarded up doorway for the other one. After that, head the rest of the way up the stairs, through the doorway, and then down the spiral staircase to find Santa Claus casually sat behind his desk, obviously reading through his list of smuggled presents.
Freeze! Federal agent!
Полицейская.
Don't move.
Я подал и не могу стоять.
Cook, get down here. I've got him.
I'm following you.
Wait, where does his assault
Over you.
rifle go?
Securing the first floor.
Okay, Mr. Smolnikov. What gives?
Why are you here? I've done nothing. You have no right to come in here like this. This isn't Russia.
Shut up. You're under arrest. I'll Miranda him. You secure the place. I spotted a 38 downstairs, back left corner.
Where's the plutonium you were smuggling?
What? I handle all sorts of things, but never that. You are talking crazy.
Why did you kill Wong? Because he talked to us? What are you trying to hide?
I didn't kill Wong. I knew him. He maybe did some work for me, but I didn't kill him.
Why did you kill the Terracon's crew?
I didn't kill nobody. They were my men. Why would I kill them? There was a fire.
Right. A fire you set afterwards to hide what you'd done.
I may be a smuggler, so are lots of people, but I didn't kill anybody.
What did you keep in that warehouse?
What do you mean? You're in my warehouse.
Well, that was completely pointless. Head back to the entrance area to find a revolver that has magically appeared on the floor in the corner. And crates with the same ink blot test on as the ones at the Terracan. Which I assume is why we weren't allowed to leave there until we'd seen them. There is one more item here you need to find, but the hint prompt doesn't give any indication that you need to be looking for it. And unless you very carefully wave your cursor back and forth across the screen and found it that way, you can be left frustrated wondering why the hell the game won't progress any further. To save you that pain and the hour of footage I recorded while trying to figure out what was missing, no, really, I even went asking Shanks for help, but...
Agent Wilmore, I hope you enjoyed your little raid this morning.
I could use some help with this case.
Okay, let me review your notes. You need something to tie Smolnikov to the other crimes. Keep searching Eddie's warehouse. The rest of it looks pretty good.
That was a complete waste of time. Behind the stairs there is a table with a payroll log, identical to the one from the Terracan on it. Pick it up and go back to where Cook is casually asking Santa if there's any chance he can get a new bullshit producing machine smuggled in for Christmas.
Look at this. It's a payroll manifest. It's a match of the one we found on the Terracon.
It's in your best interest to cooperate, Mr. Smolnikov.
We have payroll logs from the Terracon that show that Wong worked for you. We found documents that match downstairs.
Chut was me. So, that proves nothing.
Big deal! Seriously, Smolnikov hasn't denied his involvement with the Terracan and even admitted he is indeed a smuggler. Much like the fact that Wong wasn't really fishing, why are they insisting on blowing this out of proportion?
You're right. It's a 38.
Yeah, and I bet you it's the same gun that killed Wong and shot Scully. You better get a ballistics test run.
It isn't my gun.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the only one that doesn't see the logic in crossing town to run ballistics at the lab and then coming all the way back? We have enough probable cause to excuse taking him in for questioning first and then run the tests. More to the point, it would take a little while to do all that. How are they in exactly the same position when I get back?
Hey, Sleeping Beauty.
Wilmore, how's it going?
Good. How are you? You don't look so good.
I don't feel so hot.
What's wrong?
I don't know. I think I'm coming down with the flu or something. What's up? I suppose you want me to fire that.
You guessed it.
Great. My headache just went away.
I'm sorry. You really don't feel good, do you?
Nope. Let's go. Sure enough, they all three match.
Great. Thanks, man. I hope you're feeling better.
Well, as someone who sort of started this game, I know for a fact that Santa wasn't in the group that shot Scully. But could Wilmore try to have some other reaction besides a look of constipation?
You have mail.
When you open your PDA to head back to Smolnikov's warehouse, you'll get an email from some flunky at the morgue saying that Truitt has told him to send the fingerprints from the victim of the drive-by flashing. Seriously, I don't know why this is being considered bizarre. If Mulder jumped out of a car next to me, I'd probably drop down dead from shock too. If he wants to flash me in the process, all the better. You can't open the attachment on your PDA, so go to your apartment or the field office to run the prints through the ING system and learn that they belong to a restricted access member of the military. And I bet you could guess how much this contributes to the plot. I mean, fine, it lets Wilmore and maybe anybody not familiar with the show into the fact that the military involved in some way, but I'm pretty sure even somebody with a really low IQ would have figured out by now that the hauling yard was just a front, that the guy wasn't just some random hauler desperate to get David Duchovny's autograph. This information is never addressed. The guy is never mentioned again, and it's just all so pointless. Anyway, head back to where Santa and Cook are still waiting for you to return and show the gun to your partner.
Where are the FBI agents?
What are you talking about?
We found the woman's blood in your warehouse.
What warehouse? You're in my warehouse.
Your gun shot her. We have a forensics match.
I kill no FBI agents.
All right, let's get him downtown and process him. Come on. We'll interrogate him some more once we get this sorted out. Get the local police to secure the warehouse. Let's go.
And guess what? Smolnikov is never seen again. I guess if there's something this game could be commended for, it's introducing and dumping as many characters as possible in the fastest time ever. Bloody hell, we actually need to use our cell phone.
It's Amos.
Speaking of people we don't see ever again.
That boat you sent me onto was radioactive.
What?
That boat, the Terracon, had dangerously high levels of radioactivity. You sent me into a hot area. That's what's wrong with me. I don't have the flu. I have radiation sickness.
Oh man, John, I am so sorry. I don't know what to say.
Just be more careful before you get somebody killed.
This raises so many questions. Wilmore and Astadorin were on that ship for some time and yet show no signs of sickness. If anybody investigating the fire on the Terracan had fallen ill with radiation poisoning, wouldn't something have been done to the boat to contain it? If Wong was poisoned by the radiation, and that is indeed what caused his tumours, why the hell does Amos look way worse than he did after only a few hours on site? Why are we forced to forget that any of this ever happened in under 5 minutes? You may think I'm exaggerating, but seriously, all these questions are never answered. We never find out if Amos gets better or what happens to the Terracan, and in 2 scenes we're asked to drop investigating all of it. Go home, check your voicemail to find yet another message left by the ex, this time bitching about how she hasn't gotten this month's support check.
Hi, Craig, it's me. I'm really sorry to bother you about this, but the support check is late again. Did you send it? I know you're busy. Anyway, happy Easter. Take care of yourself.
How is it that a character we never see possibly has more impact on the game than anybody else? Answer the door.
What the hell were you thinking?
About what?
About your little raid on the smugglers. I had turned that case over to the task force, and you 2 cowboys go running off shooting up a place without so much as a phone call? Do you have any idea how stupid I look?
Cook called you.
He did not.
He did. He said he asked for SWAT backup, though they never did show up and we could have used the support.
Look, don't lie to me.
Wait, if Cook didn't call her, how does she know about Smolnikov? Why didn't she tell me that she'd passed the case on to the task force? She's just as much to blame for not sharing as I am. Pot kettle black much?
Do you need to get that?
No, the machine will pick up.
I guess I just had you all wrong.
Agent Wilmore, we must meet right away. Your actions are endangering the lives of Mulder and Scully.
Wait, Mulder and Scully are in danger? Since when? More importantly, who are this Mulder and Scully you speak of? Have we met them yet?
They are alive, but they won't be for much longer unless you act quickly. This has nothing to do with Russian smugglers.
I don't know. Maybe they're from Tunguska and they're trying to hunt Mulder and Krychek down. Actually, that's the point. Why isn't Krychek in this? On a side note, can we please stop facing Astadorian? It's starting to creep me out.
Sandpoint, Hangar 4, Dawn.
Sorry, I'm getting my hair cut at that time. Can we maybe try it for the afternoon?
Come alone, or I won't show up.
I don't know what kind of ridiculous Twilight Zone BS that you're involved with. And you know what? I don't care.
Why would she bring up the Twilight Zone? Aside from the inexplicable light that killed Sergeant Extra at the gas station, there's been nothing particularly paranormal going on. And up until 2 seconds ago, she kept insisting that this was just a case of plutonium smuggling.
I only came over here to tell you one thing. Smolnikov was just released for lack of evidence.
Wilmore could try to look a little more disheartened by the fact that he won't be getting any sex tonight. At the very least, he should be more baffled by how his whole case just fell through and that he's back to square one. Instead, it's time for him to go back to bed without a second thought. You're probably surprised that I haven't brought up a single problem number so-and-so in this part, but although flawed, the gunfight was actually a good change of pace. And the other bullshit is pretty much everything I've come to expect from this game by now. Seriously, every character and story thread has been dropped by this point, so why should I be surprised that Amos, Shanks, the Terracan, the deaths of Wong as Sergeant Fanboy, and Smolnikov and his smuggling ring are never seen or investigated ever again? My God, we never even tried to find Scully's laptop. Anybody else remember that? Damn it, I want to know what her password is. Day 5, and it's time to go to the hangar to meet up with another character who was killed off in Season 4. Speaking of, while looking through the strategy guide, I realised that the date setting for this adventure is the start of April 1996, which was a month before the 3rd season of the show stopped airing in the US. So, can this book please stop talking about Season 4 as if it's a part of the game? Anyway, getting back on topic, turn right a few times until you can see 2 doors. It's so ridiculously easy to get lost in this place, even though it's empty. And go through the one on the right to meet X and have your very last mood response option.
Agent Romo, I'm so glad to see that you took my advice and came along. Perhaps you're not as inept as I had thought.
Although you have to be very quick as it disappears after a few seconds and there's no prompt for you to use it. If you're a fan of the idea of someone wiping the floor with Wilmore's face, definitely check out the angry response.
You son of a bitch, what the hell do you...
That's not really appropriate, Agent Wilmore. I suggest we start again.
So, it's the mystery man. I was expecting someone a little more Sean Connery.
I think that'll be quite enough, Agent Wilmore. We don't have much time, so I want you to listen to me very carefully.
Stay right there, that's far enough.
This is not a game, son.
I'm serious.
So am I.
Quick history lesson time again for those not familiar with the series. X was, essentially, the protege and successor of Season 1's informant Deep Throat. Get your minds out of the gutter. It's a reference to the informant involved in the Watergate scandal from the 70s. Played by the excellent Stephen Williams from Season 2 until the start of Season 4, he worked for the Syndicate but leaked information to Mulder. Of course, some of this was misdirection that his bosses wanted to use to get the nosy FBI agents off their trail, but what made X different from Deep Throat was that whilst his predecessor had been pretty manipulative and most of his interactions with Mulder were only to further the work of his comrades, X actually endangered himself on several occasions to seemingly do the right thing and genuinely help Mulder and Scully. Possibly for fear of being beat up by Skinner again, but whatever. The point is, he was an interesting character who walked a very shady, dangerous line and took no crap from anybody. His impassioned speech to Mulder after Scully's return from her abduction near death in Season 2 is still one of my favourite moments in the whole series.
You got him killed. You got her killed. That's not going to happen to me. You're my tool, you understand? I come to you when I need you.
Unfortunately, his duplicity was discovered and he was disposed of in the Season 4 opener Herrenvolk. He did make a brief return in the Season 9 series finale, but that's a rant that will be made another time. Back to the game, because he was like the 90s version of Grumpy Cat, and I like to be a bit of a dick, my initial reaction here is to mess with him a bit.
We have very little time, so I want you to listen to me carefully. The most important thing is that you cannot tell anyone that I was here or that we spoke. No one in the Bureau. Not Cook, not Shanks, nor that Seattle police detective you've been teamed up with. Do you understand me? I need your word on this, Agent Wilmore, or I won't help you.
Who are you?
I have very little patience and even less time. Do I have your word?
Just say what you need to say and quit playing games.
This is anything but a game, Agent Wilmore. I need your word.
I'm not going to promise anything.
That's very unfortunate, Agent Wilmore.
Well, that seems a little extreme. Also, why does he kill me with a stiletto? I'm not an alien bounty hunter or clone. Unless that's the plot twist. There are several different threads of the conversation that are only slightly different from each other, but I could still easily watch all day because they all end up with Agent Wilmore being introduced to Mr. Pointy, and my imagination is left too free to ponder how that scene plays out. To survive the encounter, just don't antagonise X and do or agree with whatever he tells you.
I won't say a word.
Good. Listen very carefully to what I have to tell you. Lives are at stake here, including your own. Mulder and Scully are still alive.
So you said.
But they won't be much longer if you don't do something about it. Scully and Mulder are not together. You need to find the Jane Doe that was checked into the Presbyterian Hospital in Gold Bar 3 days ago. She's about to be released. This has nothing, I repeat, nothing to do with smuggled Soviet plutonium.
I've been saying that from the beginning. Can we please finally leave that red herring alone and get on with fighting Mulder and Scully already?
How do you know about Mulder and Scully?
If you're going to help Scully and Mulder, you're going to need something more than a gun. Men have died in order to possess this. I'm going to loan it to you for a short time, because without it, there's no way that you could survive. The man that Mulder and Scully were looking for, and the man that you need to find if you're going to save them, can only be killed by inserting this blade into the base of his neck.
We'll come back to that point a little later.
So what is it? UFOs or secret government experiments?
I do admire your cynicism, Agent Wilmore. Too bad it's diluted with such naivete.
Well, maybe if somebody explained things better, he wouldn't be quite so naive.
Who is he?
This man is not what he seems. If the injury is not precise, he will kill you. Do not try firing a gun. Don't attempt to do anything except to use this. If anyone discovers that you have it, you're a dead man.
Oh, and don't try following him, or he'll use his newly developed teleporting skill to shove the stiletto up where the sun doesn't shine. All joking aside though, and standing by my desire to give credit where it's due, this is another landmark scene in the game. The atmosphere is on point, and Stephen Williams is so in character that it's almost scary, despite his cameo being relatively short. X is putting himself in danger, and although his motivations are completely unknown and we get no clear answers or details regarding the case, it's all reminiscent and indicative of the TV series, and that's what I love about it. I know that sounds like I'm contradicting everything I've said about this game up to this point, but there's a fine line between misdirection or the withholding information and meandering story threads that seem to pointlessly get lost and confused. Thankfully, this scene easily falls on the right side of that line, and it's the first time I felt the game deserves to bear the X-Files brand name.
Don't forget the Jane Doe at Goldbar.
Otherwise I'll rip your throat out and shove it where, well, you don't want to know, but, you will obey me, for I am mysterious and cranky!
Whoa! Take it easy, it's me.
Oh, speaking of PMSing.
I can see that.
You get grumpy when your asses run ragged, don't you?
Well, I keep saying that he should stop hanging out with Kirk, but,
What are you doing here?
Are you kidding? After that phone message, I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
Yeah, well, you better be careful or he may run your ass ragged.
I wouldn't mind that. It was kind of cute.
Cute. Precious springs to mind.
see, now they're stealing my jokes.
So, we kind of have a lot to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we do.
Not really. Aside from the location of Jane Doe and that the kidnapper needs to be killed with the stiletto. Bullshit! We really didn't learn anything we didn't already know from X. Unless she's after some make-up sex regarding the whole "you didn't tell me this, that and the other" nonsense, I don't know what she thinks we need to talk about. Not that it really matters, because we never see them have that talk. They turn up in Gold Bar and everything seems to have been worked out without any consequences. But still, I guess it all gets talked about, nudge nudge, wink wink, say no more, while we're changing to the final disc of the game. It's been sake. Broken my PS3 controller.